Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and good morning, colleagues and fellow educators. Welcome to today's presentation on ethics for teachers, guiding principles, professional integrity, and practical decision making in the classroom. We believe that teaching is far more than delivering curriculum. It is an act of trust. Today, we will explore the ethical standards that protect our students, safeguard our professional integrity, and guide us through complex, real world decisions. Let's look at why ethics are essential in modern education. Teaching is built on 100% public trust. And why we say public trust? Because communities entrust us with their children's safety, intellectual development, and well-being. And this is the reason teachers are held as a 24/7 role model standard, not only on campus, but also in our digital lives. Today we will examine how ethical frameworks across our four primary domains help us navigate the gray areas where school rules alone don't provide simple answers. The four foundations of educator ethics include students' commitment, placing student welfare and unbiased inclusion at the center of our practice. Professional practice, upholding academic honesty and continuous competence. School communities and digital responsibility. Our highest duty is ensuring equal opportunity and access for every learner, regardless of the background or ability. Being part of University of Engineering and Technology Lahore, we have observed that students join our institution from diverse backgrounds. They might be from villages or they might be from developed cities like Lahore. Students might belong to a poor background, a middle class background, or a rich background. A student may have good mental abilities, or a student may not have that kind of good abilities related to their mental capability. A student may be physically fit and active, or a student might be physically disabled. So, students might have different backgrounds and different abilities, and we should ensure equal opportunity for each and every one of them. This also means actively protecting students from both physical harm and emotional distress while fostering an environment of intellectual freedom where students feel safe to express diverse perspectives and ask challenging questions. And this is also called as intellectual freedom. Maintaining professional boundaries is critical to keeping students safe and protecting yourself as an educator. We must maintain clear boundaries across three lines: verbal, physical, and social. In case of verbal lines, we should ensure constructive and professional speech in all our interactions. Then comes a very important part, which is physical lines. Ensuring all physical conduct within school or university spaces is appropriate and transparent. Last but not the least, social lines. Keeping personal social media and private communication channels completely separate from student interactions. This is highly, highly recommended. Then comes academic integrity, ensuring ethics in grading and assessment. Ethical teaching requires absolute fairness in how we evaluate the student work. When grading, we should avoid subjective scoring by sharing transparent rubrics upfront. Again, being part of UET Lahore, as we are already following OBE education system in which we are required to share the rubrics beforehand. So this is a place where we might already be good in terms of ethics. Then comes a very important point, accommodations for the students having certain disabilities. So for such students, either the institution may have individual education programs, IEPs, or 504 plans. These terms IEP or 504 plans are used for students with various disabilities. Such individual programs might be enforced by the institution, or a teacher or educator may come up with such a program in consultation with the student, the parents, or the institution itself. In case such individual education programs exist, we should ensure full compliance with the plans. And this is very important because at this stage we are talking about students with disabilities. And in the last slide, we were talking about inclusion of every type of student. Last but not the least, again, when providing feedback, replace public or disparaging critiques with private constructive guidance focused on growth. In simple words, we should avoid ridiculing students in public places or in the classrooms in front of other students. If there are some weaknesses that we believe students should know, we should ask the student to visit our office, and there we can discuss those weaknesses with the students. As educators, we represent a trusted public institution. This requires truthful reporting of our own academic and professional credentials, and this is very important. We do have degrees or diplomas, so we should be truthful about them. A commitment towards continuous professional development, that is very important. As a teacher, especially being a teacher related to a professional field of engineering, we should ensure that we keep our knowledge up to date. Strict adherence to institutional regulations. Our university have certain rules and regulations, and we should ensure proper compliance with those rules always. And representing our colleagues with dignity and respect in all professional forums. Next is about student data privacy and confidentiality. There is one line that I'm going to emphasize. Confidentiality is a strict 100% legal and ethical mandate. The student records, grades, medical history, for example, and anything as such must remain strictly confidential. This information should only be shared with authorized personnel who have a direct educational need to know, or when legally mandated. Otherwise, we should keep the data private. Casual conversations in hallways or staff rooms about students' records or their daily life or something that student might have shared with you as a teacher. This violates the core trust our students have in us. Now we know that technology is evolving day by day. So digital ethics has become essential. The first and foremost for today's presentation at this point of time, I would say artificial intelligence guidelines for the classrooms, especially for the students, how and to what extent they can use AI tools in the classwork. We must adhere strictly to privacy policies, never posting student images or personal details on personal social media accounts. And even if we are required to share such information on institutional social media accounts, we should seek permission from the students beforehand. Last but not the least, digital copyright honesty. As a teacher or educator, when we share knowledge or information with our students via slides, we sometimes get information from online sources or research articles. We should always inform students about the links or the references. That comes under digital copyright honesty. As an educator, we should avoid financial conflicts of interest that could compromise impartiality. There are three key rules which apply here. First one is private tutoring arrangements. We should never accept private and paid tutoring arrangements for students currently enrolled in our classes. We have frequently observed this in matric or FSC level of education. Our university may not have this in frequent occurrences, but still, I must share this. Number two, acceptance of gifts. Now, this is slightly controversial. Gifts might be of two types. They might be very low cost general gifts or a gift having a substantial value. So literature says there is a gift having a very small value that might be accepted, but in general, for gifts, the rule is refuse politely or institutional disclosure is necessary. So even if you are accepting a gift, you should disclose this to your institution, but in general, refuse the gifts, especially from the current students or their parents, the students whom you are supposed to grade later on. Keep your personal business endeavors and commercial activity entirely separate from your university duties and resources. So these three key points, private tutoring, gifts, and commercial activities, come under the heading of avoiding conflicts of interest that we should ensure. When we face an ethical dilemma in school, we can use this four-step decision-making model. First, three steps are actually the steps towards making a decision. Step number one, identify the dilemma. Define the core conflict and key parties involved. Step number two, consult the codes. Review any state or district policy or any contractual agreement that you may have with your institution. Or, for example, in case of our university, we have a white book regarding including all the rules and regulations. Step number three, evaluate the impact. Consider short-term outcomes and long-term consequences for the student and the university. And as step number 4, after making the decision, you can execute your decision transparently and maintain objective documentation. Step number 4 is similar to what our OBE system teaches us. When we make a decision, we document it. Later on, we compare the outcomes with our objectives, and that can guide our future decisions. Ethics isn't just about individual decisions. It's about building an institutional culture. Remember, ethics is not just a set of constraints. It is the cornerstone that builds trust, safety, and inspiration in education. Upholding these standards ensures our classrooms remain places where students thrive and teachers are respected. Thank you for your dedication to our profession, and thank you very much for your time in listening to this presentation.